Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive with us. And today we're going to be looking at something that's really captured my attention. It's called OpenxAI. And it's sort of this like radical idea. What if AI wasn't controlled by, the big tech companies, but was accessible to like everyone?
Yeah, it's a pretty big idea. And I think it's a really fundamental shift, because right now we have a handful of companies that are building, really powerful AI, often using, all of our data. But we don't have a lot of say in how it's developed or how it's used.
It's like they're taking the ingredients from us for this like incredible meal, but only they get to decide like what goes in it and who gets to eat it. So how does this OpenxAI thing, how does that change that?
Well, OpenxAI is trying to like flip the script. It's trying to create a decentralized and open source AI ecosystem where no single company calls the shots.
Okay, decentralized open source. I mean, these are big ideas.
Yeah.
So can you break those down a little bit for me? Like, what does this actually look like?
So instead of relying on, Google's or Amazon's massive data centers, imagine a network of independent computers all over the world, pooling their resources. That's the idea behind X nodes. And these X nodes provide the computing power that's needed for AI development and training.
Okay, so instead of like a few AI fortresses controlled by corporations, we would have this global network of collaborators kind of all chipping in to build the future of AI. I mean, that's pretty mind-blowing. But who decides what projects get prioritized on this network?
Yeah.
And who pays for it all?
Yeah, those are the big questions, right?
Sure.
And that's where the community-driven aspects of OpenxAI come in. So the community itself would decide which AI projects get funding and attention. And they do that through a milestone-based crowdfunding system.
Kind of like a Kickstarter, but for AI development.
Exactly.
Okay, I could see how that would incentivize developers to actually work on projects that would, benefit the community. But how does all of this actually work on a technical level? Like, what makes OpenxAI different from the AI being developed by, the big tech companies?
One of the key differences is that OpenxAI is built on what are called open source models. And that means that the code behind these models is freely available for anyone to examine, modify, and build upon.
So no more secret sauce.
Exactly. It's all out in the open.
That's a game changer. But even with open source models, you still need some serious computing power to build and train AI, right? So that's where those X nodes come back in.
Yeah, exactly. So let's say you're a scientist and you have an idea for an AI that can analyze medical images to maybe detect diseases earlier. With OpenxAI, you wouldn't need access to a supercomputer. You could tap into this global network of X nodes to do the heavy lifting.
So it's not just about creating AI. It's about democratizing access to the resources needed to build it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be huge for researchers, small businesses, even individual developers that have kind of been priced out of the AI race up to this point. But this all sounds incredibly idealistic.
Yeah.
Can OpenxAI really live up to these promises? What are its core values? And how do they translate into an actual working system?
Well, OpenxAI is built on 3 core values: trustless, open, and community-driven. And we've already talked about the open part with the open source models.
Yeah.
But the trustless aspect is equally crucial.
Okay, unpack that for me a little bit.
Yeah.
What does it mean to have trustless AI?
Well, it means that you don't have to blindly trust any one entity. The decentralized nature of OpenxAI, with its distributed network and community governance, minimizes the risk of anyone manipulating the system for their own benefit.
So instead of relying on a few tech giants to develop and control AI, we distribute that power across a network of individuals and smaller organizations. It's almost like checks and balances for AI.
Yeah, that's a great way to think about it. And then, of course, there's the community-driven aspect, which we've touched on, but I think it's worth exploring that in a little bit more depth.
Yeah, I agree. So what does it actually mean for a community to shape the future of AI?
Well, I think maybe we should pick that up on the other side of this break.
All right, so we've talked about like the nuts and bolts of OpenxAI.
Yeah.
The open source models, the X nodes, the community governance. But I think what's really exciting to me is thinking about like the why. Like, why does all this matter?
Well, I think it matters because it gives us a chance to build a future where AI actually benefits everyone, not just a select few. If this technology is truly as powerful as we think it is, shouldn't we all have a say in how it's shaped?
I'm with you there. It's like the difference between being a passive consumer of technology versus being like an active participant in creating it. So how would OpenxAI actually change things? Can you like paint me a picture of what this community-driven AI future might look like?
Yeah, so imagine a world where you as an individual have the power to create AI tools that are tailored to your specific needs. So let's say you're a teacher and you want to create an AI tutor that can help your students learn in a more personalized way. With OpenxAI, you could access open source models, train them on your students' data, and create a tool that's truly customized to their needs.
Wow, so no more waiting for some big company to develop some kind of like one-size-fits-all solution. That's really cool. But wouldn't that require some serious technical expertise? What about people who aren't programmers or AI experts?
That's the beauty of this whole thing. As the OpenxAI ecosystem grows, we're going to see the development of more user-friendly tools and platforms that allow anyone, regardless of their technical background, to build and deploy these AI models. Think about website builders today. You don't need to know HTML to create a website. We'd see a similar evolution with AI tools.
So it's not just about developers and tech experts. It's about empowering like anyone with an idea to harness the power of AI. I love that. But let's be real for a sec. I mean, building this kind of ecosystem, it can't be all sunshine and roses, right?
Oh, of course not.
What are some of the challenges or roadblocks that OpenxAI might face?
Well, I think one of the biggest challenges is adoption. Right now, the AI landscape is dominated by these tech giants with vast resources. So convincing people to switch to a decentralized system, to kind of trust in a community-driven approach, I think that's going to be a real hurdle.
It's like trying to convince people to abandon a familiar highway for some new unpaved road, even if the destination is potentially better.
Yeah.
There's that fear of the unknown.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's the issue of funding. Developing and maintaining a platform like OpenxAI requires significant resources. So the question becomes, can a community-driven model really compete with the billions of dollars that are being poured into AI by these big corporations?
Yeah, that's a big question mark. But the milestone-based crowdfunding approach seems promising. It allows people to directly support the projects that resonate with them. It almost feels like a democratic way to fund research and development.
It's about shifting that power dynamic. Instead of a few venture capitalists or corporate boards deciding which projects get funded, the community gets to decide. Imagine if we could fund research into AI applications that truly benefit society, rather than just focusing on profits.
I mean, talk about a paradigm shift. Well, let's say OpenxAI does overcome these hurdles. Let's say we actually build this decentralized, community-driven AI ecosystem. What does that world look like? How is it different from the world we live in today?
I think one of the most significant differences would be in the types of AI that are being developed. Right now, a lot of AI research is focused on things like targeted advertising, automation, or just maximizing profits in general. In an OpenxAI world, we could see a shift towards AI that actually addresses social challenges, promotes sustainability, or empowers individuals in new ways.
So instead of AI that just like makes our lives more convenient or sells us more stuff, we could have AI that's helping us like solve climate change, cure diseases, or bridge like social divides.
Exactly. And because the development process is open and transparent, there's more accountability. We can actually scrutinize the algorithms, identify potential biases, and just ensure that the AI being developed actually aligns with our values.
Like taking that black box of AI and throwing it wide open, allowing everyone to see what's inside and how it works. But let's be real. Some people are going to be skeptical. They'll say that this is all just utopian dreaming. What do you say to those folks?
I'd say it's healthy to be skeptical, but I'd also remind them that almost every transformative technology was initially met with resistance and disbelief. Look at the internet. People scoffed at the idea of sending emails or shopping online. And now it's an integral part of our lives. OpenxAI could be just as transformative.
I love that optimism. So what needs to happen to make this vision a reality? What are the next steps in building this OpenxAI future?
Well, that's a great question. And I think that's something we should dive into right after we come back from this break.
Sounds good to me. Okay, so we've talked about the vision, the potential, even some of the challenges that OpenxAI might face. But I guess now comes like the big question, how do we actually get there? Like, how do we actually build this future where AI belongs to everyone?
I think of it like we have all these pieces of a giant puzzle scattered around, and we need to figure out how to put them together. And it's going to take a lot of collaboration, ingenuity, and a healthy dose of community spirit.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
So where do we even begin with this puzzle? What are the first steps in building a decentralized AI ecosystem like this?
I think first and foremost, we need to make sure that the platform itself is like rock solid. So that means building the technical infrastructure for OpenxAI, the tools that will allow people to create, share, and collaborate on these open source AI models.
So it's about building that foundation, the digital nuts and bolts that will make this whole thing possible. But it's more than just a platform, isn't it? It's about building a community around it.
Yeah, absolutely. We need to cultivate a vibrant and welcoming community where developers, researchers, and even just people who are curious about AI can connect, share ideas, and support each other. Think, online forums, hackathons, maybe even conferences dedicated to OpenxAI.
So building a space where people can learn from each other, get inspired, and collaborate on these projects, like we're all part of something bigger than ourselves.
Exactly. And we also need to spread the word. Showcase the incredible potential of OpenxAI, highlighting successful projects, sharing stories of how this technology is being used to solve real-world problems.
Because success stories are powerful. They show people that this isn't just some abstract concept. It's something that can actually make a difference in people's lives. But I imagine there's going to be a learning curve.
Yeah.
So how do we make it easy for people to get involved?
Yeah.
Especially those who might not be, tech wizards.
That's a great point. We need to make that barrier to entry as low as possible. So providing clear documentation tutorials and support resources so that anyone, regardless of their technical expertise, can jump in and contribute. Maybe even mentorship programs. Connecting experienced developers with those who are just starting out.
Making it feel accessible,
Yeah.
welcoming,
Yeah.
even fun. But let's talk about maybe the elephant in the room, funding. I mean, developing and maintaining a platform like this takes some serious resources. So how do we make sure that OpenxAI is sustainable in the long run?
Well, that's where I think the beauty of the milestone-based crowdfunding model really comes in. We're giving the power to the people literally. Individuals can directly support the projects that they believe in, and that ensures that the most promising and impactful AI initiatives get the resources that they need.
So it's about democratizing not just the technology itself, but the way it's funded. A bottom-up approach, empowering the community to shape the future of AI. Pretty revolutionary, you ask me. But I mean, it's with anything new and ambitious, I'm sure there are going to be doubters out there. So how do we address the skepticism that OpenxAI might face?
I say we embrace it. Healthy skepticism, I think, is a good thing. It pushes us to be better, to think critically about what we're building. But we also need to demonstrate that OpenxAI is more than just a lofty idea. We need to show concrete examples of how this approach is already making a difference, addressing real-world problems in ways that traditional AI development just hasn't been able to.
Evidence over rhetoric. Show, don't tell. And I think it's important to remember that change takes time. Building a new system, shifting power dynamics is not going to happen overnight.
Yeah, this is a marathon, not a sprint. It's about planting seeds, nurturing the community, fostering those early successes that will demonstrate the true potential of OpenxAI.
And ultimately, I think it's about believing in a future where technology is truly democratized, where everyone has the power to shape and benefit from AI.
Yeah.
It's a future worth fighting for. What do you think?
I completely agree, and I think that's the message that we need to share with the world. This isn't just about building a new technology, it's about building a better future for everyone.
Well said. So for anyone listening out there who's feeling inspired, who wants to be a part of this movement, where can they go to learn more and get involved?
The best place to start is the OpenxAI website. You'll find tons of information about the project, the technology, the community, and how to contribute. Whether you're a developer, a researcher, or just someone with a passion for AI, there's a place for you in this movement.
So join the community, spread the word, and let's build this future together, one line of code, one project, one milestone at a time. Well, that's it for our deep dive into OpenxAI. I hope you found it as fascinating as we did. Go out there, explore, get involved, and help shape the future of AI.